Brothers and sisters, friends and family, shalom to all of my homies. It is good to see you. It is good to hear from you. It is good to be around this little virtual table as we look through scriptures, as we read through scriptures, as we try to understand them and apply them to the best of our abilities to our lives. And coming out of Christianity, one of the very first things that we were lost in was we didn't understand the separation between religious things such as Judaism and straight up Torah keeping. And most of the world don't know this because when people have associated the word Torah, it's actually with a set of people. And this set of people use a much bigger version of their laws. And these laws are hundreds of other books and writings by man that is used in their religion. And so the difference between Torah keeping is that we first and foremost have 5 books that give us a foundation of strength that we can build our house upon a rock. Because if we don't have the Torah, then we have built our house upon the sand. Because we do not understand probably the most clever, most astute, sound, inspirational, wonderful sets of life's instructions is in the Torah. The Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy is actually a breath of life. It is life in of itself, because what will happen is when you guys find the amazing strength of the Torah and start walking in the strength of the Torah, all of a sudden you power up. There's a spiritual power up along with a spiritual side of protection that comes to the people of our creators. The people of our creator are people who are loyal to him. From the very first page of scriptures all the way till the very end, I'll give you a spoiler alert. It is the exact same thing. Our creator, the creator of the universe, has offered us a covenant, an agreement, like a rental lease agreement. It has our name, our soul's identity. It has a set of guidelines that says, I want you to obey a certain way. I want you to eat clean foods because I don't want you to get sick because you're eating parasite-ridden, pus-filled, hormone pockets of janitorial work. I want you to worship on a day. I'm going to bless this day. I'm going to call it the 7th day. And I'm asking and I'm begging you to keep this day, to rest, to not work on it, to not do anything, but to just chill out. So right there, this sounds really good so far. Further on, our Creator gives us these things again, this is all part of the covenant. He gives us about 158 of these regulations that are mighty easy to hold on to and are anti-bondage. Only people that lie or are deceived will tell you the laws of our Creator are bondage. Anybody who actually knows what the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator are, fall in love with them. Beautiful things, right? Don't harm the disabled. That's an actual command. Would you want to nail that to the tree? Would you want to nail that to the cross? Is that something that doesn't sound like a good idea? Okay, so we are okay throwing the disabled away. What about proper weights and measurements? Should we rip our fellow man off? Should we add a little bit of cushion beyond what the retail should be? Should we take some opportunity of strife and grievance against the people and jack the prices of things up and really hurt them? Or do we just keep the system going, right? Well, our Creator has given us one of those commands that says have proper weights and measurements. Our Creator does not want us ripping other people off, and He does not want us being ripped off. Now, I think that sounds like a tremendously great idea. But you will have people that goes, no, that's Paul says the law is gone. And contrary to what your understanding may be of what Paul is saying, he isn't saying things like break the law. I know it sounds a lot like it, and I know that's what the Christian rhetoric is, but if you want to take the words of a man, Paul, over the words of our Creator, Yahuwah, that's a problem. I don't know if you guys can see the short-sightedness of this, but when you have 7/8 of the scriptures that say, keep the laws for all generations, I will bless you, I will keep you, I will sanctify your family, I will keep you alive, I will give you good things, you will have all these great things in the lands that you go to inherit, things will happen. It doesn't mean we're not tested, but it means that our Creator is with us. So this all stands back to the things that our Creator has asked us to do in this covenant. So the loyalty piece of this is that we see the value of the most amazing instructional guides that we can ever see in our life, and we apply them to our life. And we thank our Creator for not forgetting us, for not throwing this creation down here and letting man just kill each other off and seeing how bad it can be. We've been given the rule set. We've been given a eternity if we will choose the covenant path. So if we have a covenant path, and according to Revelation 14:12, the people that are saved are those who keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of our Creator and have the faith of our Messiah, Yahushua. There were no J's in Hebrew. His name is not Jesus, so let's use his Hebrew name, Yahushua. If you'd like to say it, Yeshua. I'm not throwing axes on the pronunciation. When it gets that close, I think he's going to turn around and acknowledge us. So we have this covenant path, and this Hebrews 8 covenant path and the Jeremiah 30 and 31 talk about a system that is for two different houses. And I like to point out to a lot of people all the time, there is no house of Christian in Hebrews 8, because the Christians will go to that as their default. They're like, this is part of the new covenant. And inside Hebrews 8, it says the old covenant, there's something wrong with it, right? And the Christians will go, oh, yeah, you know what? That's laws of our Creator. There was something very wrong with those. We shouldn't be under those laws. But when you actually understand that what Hebrews 8 is talking about is it's talking about the people that broke the laws being the problem, not the laws. They broke the laws and didn't come to it. But in the end of times, in the end of days, our Creator and His Son are going to raise together a people that love the Torah, that love His ways, that love all of this. And it's going to be the kingdom. It's going to be the kingdom to come. We're all going to be like heading over to Mount Zion one time with these messengers that are paving the way for us. We're going to be going through oceans that are impossible to pass, but somehow we're able to like walk on oceans of glass. There's all sorts of crazy supernatural things that are coming for the believers of our Creator. But He's not going to be sending the fleet of messengers, and He's not going to be calling those who are out of covenant. If you don't love the laws of our Creator, the statutes, the regulations, the great ideas for life, the way forward, you're not going to make this journey. You're not going to be called. Why would you ever be called? You're disloyal. And the Christians will say, no, we love God with all our heart, our mind, and soul, but we hate what He says. We'll nail it to the cross. And you ask them which law. They can't even tell you a single law. They're like, well, there's 10 of the moral laws, and the Sabbath one, maybe that one's wrong because we worship on Sunday. We worship on the day of the sun, a deity. A false deity is the day that we actually changed our ways of thinking. So there's problems in these religions, right? This is the rhetoric that we get in Christianity, in religion in general, that we can be a renegade, lawless group of people. But somehow, if you do keep the laws, you're old-fashioned, you're a fuddy-duddy, you're a legalistic, right? You're told, oh man, that's legalistic, Jason. You have no idea how many times people will say that, and the response to that is, do you want to be legal or illegal when it comes to the ways of our Creator, right? And you will have the brainwashing that is inside of religion that brainwashes people to think that if you're keeping the laws, you've gone down the wrong path. That this new way forward, where we raise our hand, we pray to Jesus, we ask him into our heart, which none of that is biblical, folks. There's no place in there. Our Messiah doesn't say, ask me into his heart and you're going to be saved, or anything like that. The Romans road to Christ, which the Christians will throw out there, none of it is biblical, my friends. If you're trying to be saved by the words of Paul, it's not going to happen. They're the wrong understanding of the words. Now, before you, what you're looking at, guys, you're looking at the greatest English translation that I believe you will ever find. It is a hybrid of two different versions of scriptures, that they were both kind of the same scriptures, but neither of them had completed them. And this is the completed works of two of these pretty good translations. And at the end of the day, everything we have is free of charge. If you just put 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝐅scriptures.com into your browser, if you click on downloads, there's a section right there. The Google app, which we're about to read, is absolutely free of charge. All the PDFs are completely free of charge. The same version and the book that you're looking at is all available free for every platform there is. This is what the back of the book looks like. It is a mighty, mighty book, my friends. It is 6.5 pounds. It is 3,153 pages. It is large print. So this is built for one of these highway reading machines. For us sitting here and reading and reading and reading, this is the version that you would want to get for mass study. And for the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say, you have the Apocrypha. And so you have all of the restored books of the Apocrypha that have been hidden from us for many, 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 many decades. And the Apocrypha says the exact same things the rest of the old 66 books said. It says, if you will obey my laws, my statutes, and my commands, you will be my people, and I will be your Elohim. And this is, as a covenanted people, is what we are looking for. And so, guys, 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝐅scriptures is available. It's limited edition. And it is one of these things that if you are able to help us out and get one of the physical copies, we are able to get a full copy into our brothers and sisters in chains. That part of the ministry has been very, very successful. There's been a tremendous amount of scriptures that have been sent in, and we are working and hoping and getting more and more scriptures in to our brothers and sisters. So thank you all to everybody who's purchased the 𝐤𝐄𝐄𝐅scriptures. You guys have truly made a difference. Here we are into the book of 𝐤𝐿𝐿, which is the very last book in 𝐤𝐿scriptures. It is a tremendous book. It is one of the ones that should be within the Besorah, the first 4 books of the New Testament. It should be probably, Matthew, Mark, 𝐤𝐿𝐿, Luke, and John, and something of that nature, or vice versa, maybe after Luke. But it is when our Creator's Son, Yahushua, is walking among his people, his disciples, and it doesn't take long when you hear these words to realize that literally this is the Torah made flesh that is talking to us. And the Torah made flesh is not the creator of the universe made flesh. It's his Son made flesh. The same Son who was with his dad prior to creation, who knew the Torah before light and dark were ever achieved for us in the creation realm. They knew what the laws and regulations were and were going to be. As far as Shabbat, it's also been carried on long before creation. So the Sabbath day is not something that you're keeping alone. There's hordes of messengers. There's all sorts of spiritual things up there that are keeping Shabbat as well. So here we are, guys, into the book of 𝐤𝐿𝐿, chapter 10, verse 34. Then Yochanan, John, said to Adonai, "You have taught us many things and armed our wits. You have taught us how to act towards those who believe in your cause and those who do not. Yet even among those who are most conscientiously follow your way, even among those who should be brothers, is found jealousy, pettiness, envy, and selfishness." This is, nothing has changed, right? You have John that's talking about the community, right? And the community back then was a lot different than our defined Torah community, because we have a legit Torah community. And back in the days, these guys had a religious system. They had the Pharisees and the Sadducees and whatever other sects of Judaism that they were having. they were just a religion within inside of a religion. And the Pharisees existed and the Sadducees existed because neither of them could see eye to eye on various topics. And so that's the same thing in modern day Christianity, and why there's 40,000 plus different religions of Christianity alone. It's because nobody can get it on one page when the page is right before us. We have the Torah, but yet for whatever reason, in all these religions, there's no value to it. And that is the craziest thing ever, because we're told in Deuteronomy 6:4 that this is to love our Creator with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul. Then we absolutely, without a shadow of doubt, love His Torah. And we write it on our heart, our mind, our soul. We talk about it in the day, in the night, when we rise up, when we go to bed. All these times, it is something that is amazing. So Messiah continues on and says, Yahushua said, "These things are the challenge of life and inseparable from the present rule of man. The test is your ability to change them. The corn will be gathered into the storehouse of the Ruach, and the chaff cast into the fires of transmutation." Huge stuff, right? We know of the chaff that's going to be burned, the weeds, the stubble. The grains are going to be picked up. The sheep are going to be herded in. Same thing that the rest of the Besorah tells us. This is a same thing. But I guess the answer to what 𝐤𝐄𝐄 was talking about is that we're going to have people within these groups there's jealousy, pettiness, envy, and selfishness. And what I find extremely fascinating out of all of this, because this channel is not monetized. We do not have a single ad. There's not a single such thing as ad revenue that comes in this channel. There's no such place that you can donate to Boss Clan. We do not make a single dime off doing any of this stuff. We don't want to. I've always felt that it was absolutely hypocritical if we had the ability to make money, that why would we fleece the people of our Creator when we're simply giving back the same free stuff that we've been given? All of these people that you see, all the donate, you can do this, have super chats, and you can't even watch their content because the ads keep springing up. This is what is very, very fascinating to me, is that all of these channels, a lot of the very, very big channels that have people that should know that we need to protect the sheep, that we shouldn't be serving people ads. It is one of these things. There's, it's just funny. I think I will leave it at that. But, as I'm reading through this, I'm like wondering, is this pettiness? And I don't think it is. I don't think my disagreement with those who are serving people ads is pettiness. I think it's a problem. And I think if our Creator wanted people to be funded, they would be funded without having to sit here and put links out here and literally make a business out of teaching people the way of our Creator. So beware of those who have ads on all their videos, and there is a tremendous amount of them. And again, they have them all on Shabbat, which they're generating cash. They are making money, and I don't know of any of these so-called Torah keepers that turn their things off on Shabbat, that turn their ads off, which they do have the ability to. They can click select all, turn the ads off, and then turn them back on when Shabbat's over. But let's continue on. Yahushua taught these things to the 12 in a manner different from his other teachings. There were many other things which may be told, but not all heard with understanding. Peter, 𝐤𝐄𝐄, said, "Let us partake of your strength, so we can withstand whatever is sent to us." Yahushua said, "When the test comes, it is never as expected." Guys, this is why it's the Torah made flesh. This is why there's nobody who's a better leader or a better candidate for the kingdom to come, for the world to come, for the leadership to come, than a person that is able to understand this. And when you sit and think about just this, when the test comes, it is never as expected. That's gold, because it never is, right? We can sit here and stock up and plan for this, plan for that, and then all of a sudden we get flooded out and everything gets, all our plans go out the window. It is never what we expect. And so that is what we have to understand as Torah keepers. We're going to be tested, probably more than the Christians whose souls are already lost. They just don't care. Continuing on, Yahushua 39. He also said, and this is continuing on with Yahushua, he also said, The man who says I may be wrong is always right. The man who says I am certainly right is always wrong. To avoid a fight is not cowardice, and to fight with the assurance of victory is not courage. Weak men often fight, and strong men often run. Motive is all that matters. To judge anyone by their former actions is to judge unfairly. Wow, there's a tremendous amount to break down on this, right? Wow. This is one of these things that Messiah always says it, and he says it right. As a man, it's easy to think you're always right. It's easy to think that you know better or something of the sort. But it's like one of these things. We can't always be right. We're not always right. And to sit there and to be the guy that's, I'm always right when you're always wrong, it's not a good thing. And the next piece of gold is that avoiding a fight is not cowardice. And to fight with the assurance of victory is not courage. Two huge things, right? Absolutely huge things. When you're fighting, and I come from the MMA world. In my life in the States, I was in MMA for years. I practiced at Team Quest. I walked along with the fighters of the day. Chael Sonnens, Matt Lindland taught my kids how to wrestle. For anybody that's in MMA, those are the people, the old foundational people. But there's the thing, right? Weak men often fight, and strong men often run. Motive is all that matters. And when you're fighting, assurance of victory is not courage. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand, and that they will. There's just a lot. There's a lot of guys that are fighting for no reason whatsoever. A lot of bullying, a lot of just madness in this world. And it's better to leave before you afflict damage on people. You don't need to have the last word. People are going to be straight up ignorant. And for us guys, a lot of guys, it's easy to pop a hand out there and stop whatever it is without even realizing that we've just lit somebody up. And so it's better to walk away than it is to inflict that kind of damage and go further, because these people have it's just like the people on YouTube. They're keyboard commandos. They constantly will say evil things, and they're always right, and it's a different world. And I guess this one should be like some rambling thing. If you guys are my therapists, I think I should throw a quarter into this thing, because I've been talking a lot of stuff here that applies to like all sorts of stuff. Let's continue on. Let's not fight, fellas. Let's keep it Kodesh. 40. Then, while they were gathered about him, Yahushua said, "Now who do you think I am?" Shimon Kepha answered, "You are surely Yahuwah's anointed." Trinity breaker, right? This is all through scriptures. This is absolutely nothing new, because we've heard this actual testament before in other books, and it was Peter is the one that got it. Yahushua said, "You are rather rash, but as no mortal disclosure was made to you, wise also. Since your name means a rock, and you live up to it, I will establish foundations for the city of my cause upon you, and neither death nor evil shall overthrow it. To give to you, I give the keys of the city, and the reign to which it is the gateway shall welcome you as a prince." A lot of stuff here, right? Because this is the same verse that we hear in the Besorah and the Good News, that up on this rock we are going to build this church, is what the Christians believe this says. And first of all, I don't know if Messiah is insulting Peter. I think in a way he kind of just got burned. But at the end, if Messiah says wise also, I think that's a better side of that. But you guys get a sense of who Kepha is. He's a little different, right? We know of accounts where he slices the one of these guys' ears off, and Messiah heals it. So we know Peter's kind of a wild guy. And so since your name means rock, and he actually, I think he was the one that said, I don't know if, maybe Kepha does. I think it does actually mean rock. And you live up to it. I will establish foundations for the city of my cause upon you. Now, the city of his cause is, well, I mean, if you look at it as at the end of times, when he's coming down to reign, he will reign in the New Jerusalem. He will reign on the top of Mount Zion. And the foundations of the city are you know, it's all of us. The city is not going to, the Elohim is not going to bring the kingdom to us until we have done our part as soldiers of the kingdom to work the fields, to send the seeds, to plant the seeds, to talk to others, regardless if we are scorned, right? And so the foundations of the city are the New Jerusalem, right? That is what we're talking about. And he says, and neither death nor evil shall overthrow it. And that is absolutely true. We hear from the Apocrypha, we hear in the end times, even in the book of Revelation, how it's going to be, how Messiah overthrows the forces of darkness, how there's a 1,000-year reign where we are actually called around. We are in the New Jerusalem watching this crazy world go on as the world gets worse and worse and worse, and these guys try to decide how to overthrow our Messiah. And at the end, our Messiah is going to, he's going to do his stuff, and he's going to hurt them really badly. Their metal's going to turn into sand. Everything is going to be messed up, and those who oppose the rule of Elohim are going to be owned. Now, let's not get too far out of this. Let's do one more. Sorry for the rambles, guys. I really, really apologize for rambling today. It's actually later, way later than it should be, because it's rained out over here, down here in the Central America. Last verse. Let's roll on this. Roll on 42. Inasmuch as I am the way, the truth, and the light, I bring you deliverance from ignorance. I am the Savior of all who wander in darkness, but who, seeing my light, follow my lead. Okay, lots of stuff to say, right? Follow my lead. What is the lead? Well, throughout scriptures, our Messiah has said he is there for the showing us the proper way that the Torah was based and how our understanding should be. And that is what we always hear from him. One example is when all the people took the woman who was charged with adultery down to our Messiah, and our Messiah was riding in the dirt. And all of a sudden, these people just started disappearing. They were going, and our Messiah says, go back, don't sin anymore. And he finds her not at fault. The entire story of that is that the reason he didn't just forgive this woman, he didn't just say it was okay, that don't worry about it. The guys that were trying to get her stoned did it improperly. According to the Torah, you must have had the man who that woman was with and that woman and brought them before the witnesses. So the entire group of these guys that were trying to get this woman killed and trying to test our Messiah didn't even do it by the Torah themselves. So they broke the Torah. So the lead that our Messiah had is that you need to keep the Torah. Another example of this is when somebody was healed. When a leper was healed, our Messiah always sent them off. Go to the priest, offer the sacrifice that you need for whatever it is that was doing, and you will be free. Right? Same thing for all of these people. Our Messiah walked the Torah. He kept the Shabbat. He kept the appointed times. He was our Passover lamb. He was that priest that gave us a chance of getting out of the second death. We will all have a first death. We will have a physical death. But there's a spiritual death, and the spiritual death is for those who hate the Torah. When you read the extracurricular books, the Apocrypha, it is very clear that immediately those who have turned their back on the creator of the universe for their lives will go to a place of fear. It is a place of not good place. It's just it's a horrible place. But the problem is for eternity. This is not a Holiday Inn. This is not a carnival cruise. This is eternity And I've never seen anywhere in the 103 books in Yah scriptures or anywhere else that eternity isn't eternity. You hear it in the rich man and Lazarus. There's no way to get back from point A to point B, and you're hot. Your mouth is dry. You're sick to your stomach for life. It's a way of life of sickness. And what's worse, it's eternity without the creator of the universe. It's without our creators. We're in darkness. There's no way out. We've been rejected by the Creator's Son and by the Creator because we rejected Him and His laws and His ways and His good counsel. And so this is why we want to beg, plead, and tell those around us, and to scream from the housetops and to let everybody know that there's a better way. There's a way forward. The Torah means the way forward. And what that is a blessing in your life. It is spiritual protection. And when we don't have the Torah, we're simply sitting ducks. We are simply clay pigeons being tossed out because the devil's going to shoot us from the ground. My friends, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Much love to all of you. I'm out.